So, dudes, welcome back to the Gregor Gaming Experience. I was looking at some Apex games to take match notes for, and I realized something about the operator pick rates for Apex North and Apex South. I realized that Thorn is sitting around 13%, 14% pick rate over the course of those games. Now, normally I don't really keep up with APAC or EU or Latin America in terms of the day-to-day. Whenever those games come out, I usually keep up with NEL because it kind of fits my schedule more evenly because it's on when I'm at my computer desk. Now, I still like going through games after the fact from other regions, though, because I think they give you some pretty interesting insights into the dynamics of how individual characters are played. And Thorn was no exception this time because, if I remember correctly, in my Thorn how-to, I wasn't exactly too kind. I didn't have like a ton of really great things to say about her, except for her gun. And the thing is, I don't think I think in competitive play that's probably going to be the case as well. So this is what Ace has to say about Thorn play the first time it showed up in APAC.
I do expect Pillar and Blue to be a key focus for the attackers. Chibisu playing Thorn as well, which is an interesting one, obviously brought up during our pre-show segment. Know How Siege having a look at Thorn and her abilities and uses, and we're going to see a little bit of that firsthand. Now, as you know...
Now, of course, the big one here is the deployable shield.
As
Pixel angle here on looking into Freezer.
in and around your plant spot, in and around your key areas, maybe a breaching area where players are going to want to just go and spend a little bit of time there because the detonation charge on them is such that the entries, they just don't get caught by them because they're in, poof, they're gone.
So that's basically what I also said in the Thorn how-to itself, right? Usually it's not a killing gadget. People are going to run up to the thing and it's going to activate and they're going to run away from it. The main aspect of Thorn's gadget that you're going to see in competitive play, at least I think in terms of the most amount of effectiveness, is planting the Thorn gadget on top of a default plant spot or two default plant spots. The reason for that being, most of the time, attackers in the final seconds left on the clock, they're forced to make a decision to go onto the default plant spot, any kind of spot in general that's safe for them to plant. Behind a hard wall is usually a really common spot. Anything with cover, right? Try to get to cover, get the bomb down. And if I'm being 100% honest, out of all the maps in terms of an operator like Thorn to be useful on, Oregon's pretty up there. Oregon is a very linear, a very utility-dependent map. It is very dependent on the attackers destroying util to get into key positions to make the plays that they want to do. It's very boxy and quarter heavy, right? Like there's a lot of stuff to blow up, and like map control and utility knowledge are the name of the game on Oregon. You can't play Oregon without a decent idea of what the defense is doing, and then you have to kind of pick it apart like piece by piece. Some maps you can kind of get away with with fragging a little bit more and some like timing games, but on this map you really have to dedicate a lot to blowing stuff up. So in this particular hold, what happens here, Jibisu puts he puts a Thorn thing here on the wall. That was gonna look a lot smaller than I thought. I'm still learning how to use this app that I don't care if you don't like. He's gonna put a Thorn thing. I'll just right there on that wall. And as far as I can tell, he's either gonna put one on a hatch drop or he's gonna put one behind a box here, which was a spot that I saw at one point. This was the only time actually throughout the match where the observer, as far as I could tell, caught the Razor Bloom shell actually activating, and I couldn't find the third Razor Bloom in this particular round. Maybe he put one up on the hatch drop here. Maybe he put one on the staircase over here. You know, I don't really know, but I want to draw attention to this particular part of the map, right? Because when the attackers drop E-Box, when you get the call, right? When you've established, let's say like somebody throws a smoke grenade here, right? Let's choose a different color for that. Let's say, all right, smoke this, right? And you don't have to worry about your enemy coming out either from blue or from the closet over here, or maybe from the laundry rotate, right? If you're able to put yourself in a position where you can change it to red, run in here, then plant. This is usually going to be the safest, most secure plant spot. Then you're going to have your pillar guy, right? He's going to try to keep people from contesting your angle here. That's the pillar guy's job. Maybe somebody plays off the door. Maybe if this wall is open, somebody else can play out and, you know, play a more aggressive angle here. The Razor Bloom prevents this from happening, at least for a moment, right? At least for a period of time. And you might say the same thing about a Legion Trap or a Frost Mat. Frost Mat in this situation is a little easier to find. And, you know, with the Legion Mine, I really, it's kind of tough to say. I do think that that Legion and Thorn could kind of perform similar roles. I think the main thing about Legion is that Legion doesn't really provide area denial as much as Thorn does, and that's the important thing. Because if you have a Legion Mine here, and you run into it, and you're like, oh crap, okay, you can kind of like peel back, and then take the mine out, and then go back into plant. With Thorn, if you run in and that thing activates, you have to shoot it. Right? You have to shoot it, or you have to like run back in, or run this way and then maybe get shot by somebody else. Right? So it puts you in kind of a vulnerable situation for just a fraction of a second. You know, its impact over the course of the round is kind of limited, unless like that's why it's kind of a tricky play to make. A thorn pick is kind of tricky to make because a lot has to happen correctly in order for it to actually get some kind of usage. But it's not. There are worse operators you can bring, right? I'll just say that. So for this particular site, that's the rationale behind the default plant spot over here. Now, when you're talking about freezer control, again, like you're gonna have a bunch of people, like maybe 2, 3 people pushing down this end. Let me clean that up a little bit. And then you're gonna have this is another cover spot. This is another piece of cover that you can like quick peek off of, right? Run in here, and then the thing goes, and then you might have to like run back. Now, the one instance this happened in the match, the guy ran past it, and then he just ran back, and then he ran back again. So I'm not, me personally, I'm not a PL coach. I would not advise putting Razor Blooms on anywhere except like key like entry areas of the site or places that you plan on playing off of, right? And I think what happened is that they didn't have any players that were able to contest that advantage they had when the Razor Bloom went off, right? They didn't have anybody like posted up here, you know, to take these fights. So when the guy got tagged by the Razor Bloom, they weren't able to capitalize on that. So that's why it's such a tricky pick, right? Because everything has to go right in order for it to work. But based off of what I'm watching here and the limited amount of usage I've seen of the gadget actually like activating in the first place, I'd say the most effective way to use them are closer to the site rather than far away from the site. The deployable shield, you know, that's also like a really strong aspect about Thorn that I think a lot of people overlook in ranked. This is a very, very strong gadget. It's stronger than some primary gadgets in the game to a certain extent. And the other aspect about Thorn that I think the main reason, you know, personally that they're playing her over Ella especially is the gun. The gun is a laser beam. So in this instance, Eura with UZK in hand does a little peek at a small tower from a pretty significant distance, and I don't think Ella's making this play as easily, right? And he's running the foregrip on it, which is interesting. So yeah, basically this thing's got foregrip on it, and it's got some kind of barrel attached. It's a laser beam. It's a laser beam that does pretty decent damage. It has an okay rate of fire, but like it's good. He hits the headshot there. So it looks like Thorn's kind of replaced Ella in a competitive environment. I guess if you don't want to count the shotgun for like really close holds, maybe on like Blue Stairs Bank, I think that's still pretty viable. Here was the one time I actually saw the gadget get activated, at least from the observer point of view. And can you guess what happens? You guys want to know?
That's it, so many nades coming in. The shot's nearly found from Arakaze onto Meriu. It's going to be Chibisu.
You guys ready?
Manages to find the first kill. That's onto PJH. 20 seconds left to go. Razor Bloom just halts the progress of...
You know, like, it's really useless if like you don't capitalize on it. It's so easy to avoid this thing. It really has to be in the right spot for it to work. Like, the reason this doesn't work is because this guy is getting suppressed. He can't really make the peak here.
Just halts the progress of Eura there, but nothing.
There's a window of opportunity. If he peeks here, he might be able to get the kill. I'm not really sure. If he heard it going off, maybe he was giving calls. No, well, that answered that question. Yeah, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway, right? But yeah, like when it's not working, it's not working, man. Like it stinks. But there are some situations where, like, okay, damn, I have to double back here. He also resets the frag timer there. I personally think that they should get rid of that. I think you should have to commit to using a frag grenade, but that's just me. That would have been kind of funny if there was like a little Looney Tunes kind of show there where it's like he tries to run away from the thing, but he can't get rid of the nade, and then it blows up. I don't know. But that's a little bit of Thorn gameplay I saw from PL. You know, go through this match if you want to. I'll leave it in the VOD. There's plenty of decent I think spots that these teams were using in terms of Thorn placement. Maybe you can copy paste those into your ranked games. You might see some more success there, or just laser people with the gun, which I think is the main reason people play her. All right, I'll see you guys later.